first year, trending and rising year to build up a great project upon RWA. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kenji. And then I'm going to this Platinum Day NFT here, together here. I just opened the fan and it's too loud, so I closed it. Hello, Kevin, founder of Platinum Day NFT. Let's welcome him.
Yes, hello. Yeah, thank you for having me. So I'm one of the co-founders and the acting CEO for Platinum Bay NFT. And what we're doing is actually, we have a luxury beachfront resort in Phuket, Thailand, that is having its grand opening later this year, 2023. We're very excited. We have a branded partnership with Wyndham Resorts, which is, for those that aren't familiar with Wyndham, it's the world's largest hotel franchisor. We're really excited to be able to offer some solutions to new, like real estate investors. As of right now, people who are familiar, it is actually somewhat difficult to own foreign real estate, and by being able to create a protocol that runs on the blockchain, we'll be able to offer and provide solutions for people who want to own real estate in a foreign country without having to jump through all the hoops and barriers, such as having to having to have like a visa, for example, in order to own real estate and be able to get benefits from owning that real estate. And thank you again for having us. We're very excited. Just a couple things that I wanted to maybe mention is that we just recently got a partnership with Polygon, as well as Unstoppable Domains. So we're getting a lot of traction, and really hope that we can use this platform to be able to not only help people learn about our project, but get people to know that NFTs go much more beyond much more further than just digital media, and that everyone here is really helping to help further that this innovation of bringing blockchain technologies to the real world. So thank you again so much. I'm looking really forward to speaking later on this panel, and if you get a chance, please follow us on Twitter at Platinum Bay NFT. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. So now I'm going to another small group. I want to talk about this. Hello, you can see me here now. This is about real chain. Hello, is there a real chain?
Yeah, I'm not sure real chain is here today because they got some issue as well, like Linkalive. Maybe we can skip this one. Yeah.
Okay, and I can help them to fix their problem later after this event. And now, please, do you want to share about real chain?
From my understanding, real chain is doing real world asset tokenization. For example, the real estate tokenization, and they just released their NFT pass, like the membership pass, as you can see here. They just did the Genesis pass last month, and we are really happy to have them join this center to build something great together. And I don't know more about the other. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kenji. So, anyone want to share more about real chain? Okay, but anyway, I think that is a very great project to hear about that. So now let me bring you to another a small room in the right side of the big room. Please follow me now. Hello, hello, can you see me now? Yeah, here.
Yeah, everyone, to the left room, okay? Here we will have three partners here. Three partnership here. The first one is Linkalive, SFT Lake, and Data. Yeah, please, let's see.
Okay, let's introduce YV, co-member of HeadDAO. Hello, YV. Is YV here? Hello. Do you know is YV here?
But please ask me first.
Okay, maybe Kenji, you can say something about HeadDAO because I know you're part of HeadDAO as well.
Who's a member of HeadDAO? HeadDAO is like the NFT investment DAO. They issue the token from NOWS. I believe all of you maybe heard from NFT project, the CC0 project, the NOWS. They utilize the NOWS to issue NFT as a membership, and they use those capital to directly invest in some blue chip NFT, or maybe they may invest in real world asset NFT in the future. Yeah, and that's HeadDAO.
Okay, thank you, Kenji. And now we are going to talk about SFT Labs. And let's welcome Arthur Lee, CMO of Slow Protocol. Hello, Arthur.
Yes, welcome everyone. You can hear me okay? Just want to double check.
Yeah,
Great. Well, this is really awesome to be on the Linkalive platform, and I look forward to a lot of the updates that you have to improve the experience. So SFT Labs is basically focused on semi-fungible tokens. One of the players is Solve Protocol, which were the authors of the EIP 3525. If you've not heard of semi-fungible tokens, in essence, it's like a hybrid of NFT / ERC20 tokens. Reason why it's relevant to the discussions of today is because it's taking off-chain assets, real-world assets, in a way, in helping to structure it in a tokenized way, regardless of the underlying asset. But we do focus on things that are collateralized, and I think for the most part, we look at building out a marketplace collaboratively with other projects as well. There are other protocols or standards that are building semi-fungible type characteristics that allow, the easier management of tokenization. And yes, it's sort of like based on building, Web3, financial infrastructure. But it has a lot more wider capabilities, and the labs is the area where we're working with the ecosystem to continue to innovate and make this broader use cases. So thank you for having me here today. I'm happy to be here, and I look forward to learning about all the other projects. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Arthur. Happy to hear from you. And next, we have also a Linkalive logo here, and you can see our information here. And now let's go back to the big room now, the main room now, to introduce more people. Yeah, because they didn't put their project items in here, but we are happy to have them here as well. So let me introduce them for you. Let me welcome Monaco OG Club. Hello, Monaco OG Club. Do you know who is that?
Issue as well. Yeah, so maybe pass it first. Yeah.
Okay. And then Reha Kokatas. the CEO of RealChain, and yeah, we just had them at the introduction. And now let me introduce Slava, founder of Phoenix team. Hello, Slava.
Here.
Hi.
Hello, Slava.
Hello. Please, do you want to introduce yourself or your project?
Absolutely. This is Slava at Phoenix team. I am the founder CEO of Phoenix, an agency that I started back in 2021 when I saw the necessity to help brands to tokenize their assets. Over the past year, I've had a chance and opportunity to work with many real estate projects, including I've had a chance to create the foundation for a new token standard, which I'm referring to as GeoNFTs. And the goal of this project is to bridge the physical and digital world, to introduce geolocation data on chain. And for that reason, I'm a strong believer that we need to see real world assets on chain, and we need to ensure that the location data is stored in such a way that platforms and others can leverage the data that is able to be stored on the blockchain. And for that reason, I'm a big advocate. I want to see not only the token standards evolve, I'm also part of the lead in that, as well as I am happy to work with any project or brand that wants to tokenize their real estate assets and bring those assets on the block.
Can you hear us, Slava, now?
I think she's Swedish.
Okay. Hi, thank you, Slava. I think his connection is not very well. Hello?
I was able to hear.
Okay. And now let me introduce Jay, Club Venture Investment Director. Hello, Jay.
I guess that's me. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, good.
Okay, hi. I got invited by Kenji. Thanks a lot, Kenji, for inviting me to Linkalive. I think it's a very nice experience to meet all of you guys who are innovators in the Web3 space on Linkalive Metaverse. So thanks for that. I'm a venture manager at Blockchain Founders Group. We are a venture capital investor, but also a Web3 business investor and company builder based in Central Europe. So we are investing in early stage startups who do innovative Web3 business models in the Web3 space. And I'm very interested in talking to you and discussing about real world assets on the blockchain. And I think not only it is about bringing NFTs and digital assets to the real world, but I think it's also about the other way around, bringing real world assets to the blockchain, right? So I think we are seeing some really interesting developments in this space currently, with, for instance, MakerDAO partnering with Centrifuge and also Block Tower, bringing 220 million in real world assets onto the blockchain as collateral that back the issuance of DAI stablecoins, right? So I think this space is really hot right now. I think for many years, I think not many projects have gone past the stage of proof of concepts and in terms of bringing real world assets onto the blockchain. But I think the topic is getting hot again in 2023. So I'm really excited to be here and to discuss the latest developments in this space with you guys. And yeah, thank you, Kenji, for the invitation.
Okay, thank you, Jay. Thank you.
I want to say something. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really grateful about all the speakers joining the event today, because I know it may be some rough time for some people, especially in Asia, right? And John is from Korea, and he is like a professional in venture capital, and he have plenty of idea and insights about crypto projects. So that's why I want to introduce John to join us today and share his perspective, in busy perspective about real world asset, how busy treat and see real world asset project impact. Right? So I think he may share more insight and more great stuff from his experience later in our panel discussion. And also I want to thank you for the SFT Labs. And as you know, SFT Labs, they innovate the novel standard for us, especially for us. Yeah, because I mean, InVar is like the leading protocol who we need to take the risk to adopt in those new standard for real world asset tokenization. So I really thankful about their development and their contribution for the crypto. And also thanks for Platinum and Day and Slava. They are all great guys and they are really professional in real estate sector. Yeah, thanks. That's my sharing.
Okay, thank you, Genji. So now let me introduce and welcome Real World Blockchain Association. Hello, I think it's RWA, right? Hey, I see you on the big screen.
Mexico.
Mexico. Hello. I think I can hear you now.
Mine is not.
Open your mic.
You guys can hear me okay?
Yes,
Yeah,
now it's
very clear.
open.
Perfect. So, yeah, my name is Richard, also known as Mezcal Online. I'm one of the founding members of the Real World Blockchain Association. Our job is to represent everybody in this room, actually, and everybody in the wider RWA community. And sort of, our job is to bring these projects together and help solve the challenges and problems that we all face. So be that around trust, be it around security, be it around marketing, be it around some technology and tokenization issues. So we've spent the last few months essentially networking, a bit of sort of testing, like what format the association will take this year. We're getting feedback from various people around the world, different projects, and we're still in that process, and we very much welcome people to join us and tell us how they think we can help them best. But so far, we found some very interesting companies. Some companies have been in this space for years and years, and while others are very new. And we want to create a forum where people can learn from each other. We want to create financial incentives and mechanisms where people can help each other in a trusting way, and how we can solve the challenges together that to make 2023 and 2024 like the ultimate bull market for real world asset projects, which a lot of how many articles and predictions and things I've read from very smart people the last few months, and everyone seems to be putting more and more attention on real world assets. So I think now this is an absolutely great time for this festival. So I want to thank Kenji and team, especially Linkalive for putting this great space together for us to. So it really is, and it's going to be an exciting year in the real world asset space. But I think the most important message I want to give is that projects don't need to try and solve every problem himself and alone, because some very smart people have already solved some of these problems. Of course they're different depending on countries or depending on the sector you're in, but there are a lot of commonalities, a lot of similarities between, if you're Landex who are tokenizing wheat, or if you're tokenizing real estate, or if you're tokenizing uranium, right, or whatever it is. But when it comes to property rights, when it comes to the technology side, when it comes to the marketing, you're going to have the same types of issues. So, and there's a lot of small teams with modest budget, if they even have a budget, working on some really amazing ideas. So you don't want to be redoing you don't want to be trying to solve a solved problem, right? If someone has already fixed that for you, how you can get hold of it, it's open source, or if you can get some help, some advice from someone who's already been down that path. Because I don't see the RWA space as very competitive. I think it's very collaborative, or it should be. Yes, there are, there's a number of projects that are tokenizing gold, but I don't see them necessarily as competitive. I think, I see the big competition as traditional TradFi, and even then, TradFi has to be a partner as well. So it's how we can together as a community help each other, help bring on traditional finance, traditional investors, and at the same time create new ways of sharing value and in the crypto, powered by the blockchain, powered by crypto, for a fairer, more equitable world. So that's all I have to say. Check out our Twitter, RWA DAO is our Twitter handle, or you can go on rwadao.org on our website. I've created a Twitter list on that Twitter account, which follows almost 200 different projects now in the RWA space. So just by following that list, you can follow all of those projects in one go. It's a really good way to see what's happening across the whole RWA space. We like to highlight some of the most interesting stuff we see on a daily basis in the Twitter sphere about RWA as well. So we hope to be like a great spot for your daily RWA news and fix. And of course, as we grow and our own plans this year, you can see more of that with this as well. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for having me, and I wish everyone luck this year on their projects.
Thank you, RWA Blockchain Association. And now I'm going to introduce Kochi, the senior editor and the micro business Next Media. Hello, Kochi, are you here?
Yeah, hi everyone. Thanks for having me today. I'm Chico, an editor from the Taiwan-based tech media Linkalive. We're a little bit like Taiwan's TechCrunch, and we mainly cover the news for startups and host events, promote and introduce them. So I'm glad to be here to support Linkalive. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Kochi. And I want to introduce Faye, today's host. Faye here. Hello, Faye. Oh, I think Faye. Hello. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Okay. Hi, everyone. Faye. I'm so honored to be here to join the first ever the RWA event on Metaverse. So I just heard so many promising and great potential of this RWA, and by just not from the content that the founders share, but also seeing so many people here together to either at your morning time, afternoon time, or even the midnight time at Taiwan. So it's a great gathering, like people from all over the world to join and support this the first ever event. So I'm going to help the Kenji and with the auction here. So I'm going to pass the mic back to Ashley. So when we get to the auction time, we're gonna share more. Oh, by the way, okay, I'm from Taiwan, and my career is mostly around brand marketing, but also I'm an NFT artist. So I joined the NFT scene from March last year. Yeah, last year. So like OG, like early NFT participant. So I'm so glad to start to learn the RWA in the later stage, which is recently. So I look forward to learning more about RWA from everyone here, and hopefully we can start get to know more by owning the NFT, either to buy the NFT after this event, or try to bid one from the auction. Okay, I'm done speaking. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Faye. Okay, there are some of my friends and famous in Taiwan's Web3 community. I I want to introduce to you first Colin Chen, a content and AML professional specialized in Web3, and Huang Daoli, founders of WebDAO, and Ali Chang, a journalist, has connections all around the world. And okay, I'm so happy and honored to have you guys here. Thank you all, and you can have great communication today, I believe. So now, this room will still on the platform after this event. It will not close after this event. You can join this room anytime in the future. This is also what we provide for the early partnerships on our platform. A truly community space forever. Yeah, of course, if Linkalive is live. Okay, let's go to next session, the NFT auction. Faye, please.
Kenji, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so for today's auction, okay, so I'll start. So thank everyone to be here to join the carnival event. So one of the entertaining feature in the carnival is this NFT auction, which is supported by InVar and Play Estate. So I would like to have Kenji to start introduce about the auction and also about your InVar NFT. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I think the origin idea of adding auction session in this event is about educating and promoting how real world asset could be with blockchain technology. So the auction will have the first one in Bay Area, and the second one is the NFT from Bay State. And for InVar, InVar is our flagship project because the positioning of InVar Finance is we want to build on a hybrid financial protocol. The meaning of hybrid is that we want to combine TradeFi, like the Mexico that they already discussed about earlier. That we want to integrate and build connection between TradeFi with DeFi, and we believe that the integration between both worlds, between multiple industries, is the future of blockchain. Is the future of how crypto technology go to mainstream. And also, I believe you all understand, we've been through like the most excitement and exciting 3 years from 2020. And we learn, I believe all of you learn a lot of lessons about how tokenomics works. If they're only tokenomics, right? And also if they're only rely on community. So that's why I hope all the real world asset builders, they are the true believer, and they are more practical to want to build something, right? Build something in this ecosystem for real. For creating real value. So the auction we released is the NFT we launched last year in September. We tokenized the service apartment, the luxury service apartment in Bahrain, in Middle East. And this service apartment is our investment, our initial investment, because we want to do things in the right way. So we reach out the regulator in the Middle East, and we apply and spend some compliance costs in front of our product development. So, and after that, we use the property we invested to do tokenization service for this kind of innovation experiment. So this NFT, the InVar 22, the Armor 20, the name of building is Armor 20. It's a service apartment with 24 and with 94 rooms, and we utilize half value of this property because we want to make sure as safe as possible for investors. So it's like a over-collateralization model with our NFT mechanism. It's like you integrating with DeFi protocol. You need to collateralize your ETH, and you maybe have ability to to borrow 50% or maybe 60% of the funds from the A or from compound, something like that. So we utilize this concept for security issue, and we tokenize it, but we are not tokenize ownership like Platinum they do, or like Players they do, because we want to build a lot the global investment vehicle. We want to build a lot of infrastructure, not just for like tokenization, but for financial use case. And that's why we adopting the semi-fungible token from SOAP protocol. And so back to the main point I want to say is that we tokenize only the economy value, the rentals, the cash flow from this property are much property. So it's like we could tokenize the cash flow and distribute those cash flow to the asset holder. They can solely stake to earn from getting the yield, the interest from the property from real world. And that's our initial mechanism. But by utilizing the SFT, like I mentioned, by utilizing the SFT, the semi-fungible token, the user don't even need to be required to stake. They can just hold. They can just hold, and those interest, those benefits are already binding with the NFT, the SFT. So that will be, I believe, that will be the newest and novel standard and model for everyone to utilize it, because for Ethereum, we don't want to build up something just for ourselves, and that's why we spend many times and to reach out and build partnership with all you guys, with Platinum, with PSA, with FTT, because for my belief, I believe the Web3 is about co-building, like the speaker shared already. It's about co-building, because the RWA is so huge, right? They are still have so much potential you can develop, you can discover, and we still have many opportunity to explore, and also we have still far for adoption, there are still a long way to let people to understand why RWA is inevitable in this sector. So I don't want to say too much and go to the ocean. So if you are interested about our RWA deck, the basic functioning is, the basic feature utility is about stake earn. You will have 12% APR by staking with this NFT, and we utilize USDC, the stake coin, to receive fund and do the initial investment. And the most important is that they only got 1 year lockup period, which means after 1 year from the beginning of your staking, you can redeem your initial capital by burning our NFT. So that's the basic feature of this NFT we launched last year. And also, we are preparing our next gen real asset NFT. Maybe we may release in February or in March, and we will reward our early adopter by holding this Amach 20 NFT. You may have additional token drop and also additional privilege by minting our NFT with low cost. So that's our introduction. Yeah, thank you, Ben.
Okay. So if you want to learn more about the InVar NFT, you can, on Twitter, just, search InVar Finance, and join the Discord so you will understand more. Also, I'm standing in front of the InVar NFT term. I could see me. I'm one person alone here, and just search around and you will see the poster about the InVar RWA-backed NFT auction. You can, and on the poster there's more detail about the NFT that's going to join this auction. So Kenji,
Yeah,
how
about
much?
about the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, about the ocean, things, and we will operate in ocean and like ocean running during whole panel discussion. So if you want to bid the area or the late or the active on players, they will introduce it later, and just type it in the chat room. No matter you are in Linkalive Metaverse or you are in Discord or our Twitter channel, live stream channel. And also for Rivera, like, because the first one we released, as you know, they have, well, the real estate, they have a little bit quite high capital entry level, right? So that's why we doing tokenization is for people to join and having real estate investments through our fractionalization NFT. So each one is priced at 2,000 USDC. We develop in the Ethereum blockchain. And if we want to pick up, we use Dodge Ocean, which means the price will go down every 5 minutes, and it will start at 2,000 USDC. So it will be like $1,950 in the next 5 minutes, and it will be $1,900 in the next 10 minutes. So you want to be just follow the template in the chart. You can just say area from 22, 90,000. You want to pick one. We only released 2 for this carnival. Yeah, so that's this option just for fun and for a little bit sharing and each promotion. Yeah, thank you.
Everybody turn, just click on your message box in the bottom, and there you can see the brief intro about both NFT from InVar and Play Estate, and also in the recent tweet you can see the template, how you can place the bid. So I will repeat, I think they just they just post the brief intro about the NFT again. But before that message, you can see the template, right? Hold on, let's see.
Yes, yeah, the template is in the chart, and the forward price will be 1,700, and so it's like around 50% discount during an event. So you have a chance to own if you are interested. About it. Yeah, thank you.
Just go for Boss Young, BOSYONG. Boss Young just post a template for direction to place a bid. So first, hold on. Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
You need to just place a bid. You have to say you place bid for what item, and then your price, and you need to screenshot your bid if you win the bid. Okay, so so let's start the bid. So for the first, we are going to bid for InVar's NFT. There's only 2 NFT available in this auction. So Kenji, how much you will start with the bid?
Yeah, like I said, 2,000 start.
Yeah, 2,000.
And it will.
Yeah, the NFT will start with 2,000, and there will drop $50 for after every 5 minutes. So if you want to get the NFT before everyone, you can start with 2,000. And so this is Dutch auction, so meaning the first bid will be the highest, then they're going to drop the price after a certain amount of time, which is 5 minutes in this auction. So we will start the bid for InVar. Okay, should we? Does anyone have any problem or questions?
Maybe let Play Estate introduce themselves. We will have the second line for Ocean, and maybe let Play Estate they can introduce.
Okay, sure. So we will have the founder of Playsta, William, to introduce the Playsta NFT.
All right, guys. Yes, I'm here. I didn't get a chance to go through the project. I guess now for me to kind of explain our little baby to you guys. As we said earlier, PlayState is building an innovative marketplace by separating ownership of a house through tokenization and fractionalization into smaller pieces. Users now can own their favorite house from anywhere, making it more accessible than ever. And that is our goal. Just like the state name implies, we believe owning a property should be fun. And through play, together we can engage, compete, and collect while building wealth at the same time. And tailored to today's users and investors, our platform is pioneering. Not only can users find the most value for their money, but they will also have more fun when they explore and interact using PlayStation through our communities. While traditional platforms service only qualified investors and is very inefficient, PlayStation brings ownership to average users, combining the convenience of investing with the affordability of a large and growing inventory of our properties within the United States and also moving internationally, including exploring and participating in deals and collaborating with each other within the community as well. On the focus of play, users can enjoy lower prices and more value for their purchases by sharing with friends, cooperating with others, and also engaging on our platform events. At the core of this stage, of course, our decentralized model gives power to our community where each individual can make decisions on the properties that they own, whether that could be repairs, rent increase, selling for profit, and much, much more. Users can also check out what others are interested in collecting or making suggestions to others as well within our community. Value for investments serve as a catalyst for the model for our playstates, and also the exciting way of sharing and communication with others goes beyond the RWAs, or in our opinion, what can be measured by price. And as a community, users lead and build our self-sustaining and self-enforcing ecosystem, driving our long-term growth and also giving each user real power over the foundation of our platform. And the bigger the community, the better the user experience, expanding to more inventories, and also even more fun and value for people's investment. That is our project in a short paragraph, I guess. Going into detail for our ownership token, right now we're starting with our Genesis membership. What it entails is it will airdrop governance token in the future. It'll unlock fractional ownership participation. We will also airdrop fractional ownership once it's ready, which it is now closing to finish. And also we will give back earnings multipliers and also free entries to platform events in the future as well. Depending on the tiers, some are weekly free entries, some are monthly free entries. And that's what our membership tokens are. And to follow up with our membership token, our project right now has pre-approved SEC, CFTC regulatory. We're in compliance with US regulations. And our BD has begun, and we said right now we're tokenizing our product. So our first product is in Los Angeles, and we're moving on to Seattle, Houston, and Miami next. But we have about 4 projects under our inventory right now. Within LA, we are LA locals, and we're working with local family offices to expand our territories and also expand our inventories at the same time. That's our, project in a quick fold. I guess for now, we can start bidding for our NFT membership key. The starting price, I believe, for this one is 100. I might be wrong. They're gonna hate me for it, but let's say start with 100.
100? Okay, that's great deal, everyone. So how many pieces available for this auction?
I think we're doing 2 kinds of auctions. One is the higher tier, one is the lower tier. The lower tier we're starting with. The lower tier is 200, and the high tier is 2,000. I'm so sorry, guys.
Okay.
Almost made a mistake.
Okay, so how many for each kind?
2 for the 1 for the high tier and 5 for the low tier.
Okay, so everyone, I hope everyone here. So if you want to join the Play SDA membership club, there's a key in the dorm. You can see that I'm standing here, and you can also see Meerkat standing on top of the dorm. So the NFT available for this auction have two kinds. One is highest tier, that's cost for 2,000, and there's another one which is I think more like Genesis, right? The Genesis NFT is for 2,000 for the bid, and it's a single price bid, right?
Yes.
Okay. So if you're interested to join the Players Day, please place a bid either with 200 or get the only one available, which is the highest one is for 2,000. So what's the difference between the highest one and the Genesis NFT?
They will have airdrop. They will airdrop different amount of tokens and also different value of fractional ownership, and they receive different kind of discount tiers.
Okay.
On the platforms and also our offline partnerships.
So if you want to be the king in Let's say, be 2,000 on the highest one. So if you want to learn more about PlayState, you can click the information. I think the button on the bottom of the dome, or you can just search PlayState on Twitter and join the Discord and learn more about this project. So again, if you want to place a bid, and there's a template, it's just place a bid for Play SDA and put the price either 2,000 or 200, and there's only one available for the highest one, 2,000, and there are 5 available for the 200 one. So the early come, early serve. If you want to, there's only 6 available today, totally. So place a bid, and okay. So now the bid start, and we can also move on to the next one, which is the panel discussion. And once the bid is over, the winner have to screenshot your bid, then contact Linkalive on their Twitter. You can just private message to Linkalive on Twitter. Then you can, and the Linkalive will contact you for the following transaction and the process to secure your NFT holder membership. So
let me repeat again for our process of auction. The auction will keep going during whole panel discussion. If you want to be the NFT, no matter it's InVar or the Play SDA, you can just type the bid price in the chat room or in Discord chat room. And after that, if you win the bid, you need to screenshot of your Linkalive or maybe your screen to as a proof, and also contact through Linkalive Twitter to learn how to get the transaction down. That's the whole process. So please be sure to screenshot your desktop, your screen as a proof. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and if you have any question about the bid auction, you can check the messages. There's a big, very competitive going on, and we have to, congratulate the first bidder who won the NFT of InVar for 1950. That's a lot of money. But congratulations on user 1216, right? And there are also, I think I saw someone got the Play SDA for 200. So meaning there are, I guess, 4 left. So let's keep watching the message. And if you want to join the bid, do place the bid as early as possible. So good luck, everyone. Okay, so Kenji, let's move to the. And I think both Young and I will, keep watching the message and make sure the bid going well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Faye. And let's go to the main session today is about panel discussion. And panel discussion we had maybe around 6 topics to discuss. It's all about real world asset. Each topic will have directly the appointed speaker to share their insights, their opinion. Let's go to the first one, Peter. Yeah.
Okay, hey guys, I'm the founder of the co-founder of the Linkalive, and in this panel discussions, we are going to discuss several issues that is actually very deeply concerned with our issues of the real estates on the real world versus the blockchain, or versus the NFT, or versus this kind of technological, social, and legal issues that we want to figure out in the future. So the first question will be, why RWA on-chain is inevitable? So for this questions, I would like to invite Slava to answer or share about your subtle insight first. And Slava
just goes. Yeah, maybe. Slava, you in there?
I'm not sure, but it's okay. But or we can just moving on to the, maybe RWA can share your opinion, can share your insights as well, and just moving back to Slava later. RWA, can you hear me?
Hey, yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so the question or the issue we want to discuss here is why RWA, the real world association blockchain on chain, is inevitable. Why this trend is so inevitable.
I think if you believe in crypto, you have to if you believe in crypto, you have to believe in the future of real world assets, essentially, because as the original dream of crypto, I think, is real world assets, even though maybe not, because an electronic cash also had to have real world value, right? And I think one of the problems that's happened in crypto over the last few years is the abstraction from reality sometimes, right? Be that some of the failed stablecoin projects we've had, be that just the bubbles that have been created in PFP-based NFTs and things like this, right? Where we forget what the underlying value is and what's actually useful. And although we're doing this event in the Metaverse, we all, as human beings, live in the real world, in the real verse. And we still need to eat, we still need to somewhere to live, we still want to have an income so we can afford to live the life we want to do, right? And that involves having a job, involving corporations, or even if they're DAOs in the future, right? So, and just as like any other technology trend that has changed the way humans interact and trade and so on, blockchain is just the latest one. We already had the digitization of value in other ways, with electronic banking and credit cards and all this sort of stuff, right? So this is just the next step in a technological advancement of understanding who gets what and when they get it, and then that it's fair and it's secure, right? And that for me is why this is pretty much inevitable now. I'm saying pretty much because you never know. I never like to say 100%. I think that hopefully we've learned a lot as a community, as a global crypto community over the last few years of how not to go about bringing real world assets on chain, because as it gets more and more connected to the traditional finance system, there's going to be a lot of regulation hurdles. There's going to be a lot of potential, real world impact when things go well or when they go wrong. So it's going to be a long journey. I do think it's at the same time, it's not just a pipe dream either. Things are already happening now, but it's going to be a very small percentage of people who are doing it. The user experience is still very poor for trying to onboard people into crypto or Web3 in particular. And it's going to take, it's just like the internet was in the 80s and 90s. I know, even I was on the internet super early when I was super young, and I was using bulletin boards, right before there was, and then after that onto AOL, which wasn't even like the real internet, right? You were in this sort of little bubble. And then obviously the World Wide Web really took off, and now we can't live without it. So I see we are still, if we look at the way the internet technology was in terms of crypto, and in particular real world assets, we are still in the 80s, maybe the 90s, my friends, and it's going to be, but it's a very exciting time. This is going to be a formative time for the projects that come out, and make it not, it's going to be a very small percentage of the projects today that will be around in 10 years, 20 years time, but it's going to be a lot of the talent that's created now will go on to do amazing things in other ways as well. So it's going to be messy. It's going to be a long road, but it's already started. That's the main thing, and the community as a whole will get there.
Wow.
Can I maybe add to that?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, hi, here's JC from Roger Finance Group. I think I just want to add to what just RWA has said, and I completely agree with him 100%. I think just when we look just at the numbers, right, I think currently DeFi has dropped from 100 billion in TVL, total value locked, to around 40 billion total value locked. And if decentralized finance really has the requirement or the aspiration to become a parallel world or become an alternative to traditional finance, then it needs, I guess, the exposure to real assets. I think this is inevitable, and I think it's also inevitable that maybe in the near future, real assets are brought onto the blockchain. I think one of the reasons why this is inevitable and also why it is needed is because currently lots of yields, lots of incentivization programs or projects in the decentralized finance world are speculation driven. And if we want to decouple from speculation driven revenue, then we need exposure to real world assets. And the reason why is also being that the real world asset industry is just several trillions of US dollar worth, right? And this hasn't been touched upon yet, just a little bit by the decentralized finance world, and we want to scratch, and so far we just scratched on the surface. So I think that's why real world assets brought onto the blockchain, onto the decentralized world is really inevitable, and we're just at the beginning, just like RWA just said.
Okay. The RWA and GC just sharing their own insights about why this trend is so inevitable. And just recap the two remarks. First of all, the infrastructures of the digital banking systems, these kind of online finance systems or the online infrastructures is getting improved in these years. And it is just not like the ancient times that we are using the internet. We can only send messages or we can only pass information through the blockchains like that. And since the information can carry more and more efficient and can become more and more efficient, so a lot of things can be achieved right now and can be realized right now. And we are actually moving into another stages of the whole internet and whole digital ages. So this is how blockchain, this is how this kind of new technologies can actually enable us and entitle us to do what we want to do. Yeah. Okay. Does there anyone want to add more thought or add more opinion on that? If not, we just go moving on to the next questions. And let's get the mic to Kenji.
Yeah, I can add some. I think I totally agree with the speech from John, my friend, and from the Mexico, from RWA. And for me, my perspective is that why are we choose to real asset, to build something in real asset, and also want to build out hybrid finance is about, as they mentioned, the cryptocurrency, not currently, maybe used to in the speculation-driven environment, and those tokens, whether it's the general token or the non-fungible token, they usually got a very short-term life cycle, and people really get hurt from most of, maybe more than 90% project. They get hurt very easily, and also the value, the intrinsic value of those projects, most token is not easily not clearly to verify, to predict. So that's why we believe that blockchain technology is a new tech. This new tech can truly re-innovate or bring improvement in our traditional finance, in traditional business model. So that's why we believe that by bringing those old school business with new tech, it can be truly generate something great, right? Because we already have those history proven record from the stock market, from bond market, from real estate, etc., right? They are all more predictable, and they got completely natural framework, whether it's for valuation purpose or for build up business model, right? But with new technology, we can solve this system problem we face every day in our traditional industry. So that's the I believe three merits of by utilize blockchain in real assets. That is about transparency, efficiency, and also the most unique one is about we can generate mass potential by the characteristic of the composability which we intrinsically own from the blockchain, and also. I believe most of the industry and human lifestyle is in the process of paradigm shift. Right? The life is changing, lifestyle is changing, and our no matter it's investment behavior or daily life, it is changing because of the innovation of this technology. And I believe that the trade fight and maybe other sector, they face the severe demand to upgrade themselves. So it will be we can looking forward. There will be so much traditional institution, whether it's financial institution or some real estate developer. They want blockchain so hard, but they didn't know anything about Web3 or blockchain technology. So that's why they need us, right? They need players, they need banking, they need they need RWA, and then maybe they need the model from the SFT or from finance. So that's why I believe the future of crypto adoption, it certainly will have a certain seed, certain percentage, certain role for RWA, because people all learn and all familiar with real world assets, with commodity, with agriculture, with those precious metal or gold, right? They are all understanding how it works, but so they will get trust more easily by you urging them to do investment in cryptocurrency, those virtual stuff, right? So that's why it's also our belief. We believe that by integrating blockchain technology with RWA can be a strong and solid solution to bring more web to a traditional user, no matter they are retail investor or institutional investor, to jump in crypto to utilize those new tech solution. So that's why I believe this year will be a pivotal year for crypto. Most crypto will finally go to the right way, the right track, with maybe less malicious and bad actor within the space, because the government and regulator will finally got chance, got reason to monitor to top of the ecosystem. And also, we believe that for providing more clearly regulation and rules and laws, then the RWA sector could have more bright way to develop further products and service. So that's my sharing. Thank you.
Okay, thanks Kenji for the complication of the question, and it actually adds a lot of things into the discussions and adding a lot of different topics into the discussions about like the trade buy or other positive things that we can achieve after we make this tokenization of the real world properties, no matter your cars or your houses or some very high value metals or these kind of things. When it becomes possible, you can actually create a lot of possibilities. Okay, so now we're moving on to the next questions, and I hand in the mic to Kenji.
Yeah, the next one we will talk a lot more deeply about the regulation. I believe the compliance and regulation will be like a civil issue, civil lesson for the RWA builder, no matter the country you are located in, the KDS. And this question, I want to invite the lawyer, the S3 and Peter. They are the lawyer, so they got some insight. And also, maybe I want to invite William from BSA to share their opinion and idea about the regulation about RWA. How to see regulation in this new sector. Yeah, maybe Ashley go first or Peter. Peter. Yes.
I think I'll just go first. Okay, so the regulation of RWA is actually very interesting issues, and it actually becomes very important when when we are in the end of the 20th, we know that the very famous exchange, the centralized exchange, FTX, is just collapsed in a night. So it actually triggered a lot of warnings or a lot of concerns coming from all the other governments or the authorities concerned that are actually want to make more regulations or make more laws or make more restrictions into the blockchain or into the crypto world. So it actually needs to be, this is issues that need to be investigated. And when we are talking about tokenization in the real estate, there's also some other basic problems that we need to solve as well. So for these questions can actually be divided into several layers. So the first layer is that what is the regulations on the crypto world. So basically we know that now this centralized exchange have its own problems. It need to be improved the mechanisms of the governance model of this kind of centralized exchange. It could be improved to protect their clients and assets, to protect this, to give the consumers of this kind of CX centralized exchange more protections and more welfare and more trust. So some new mechanisms like not new but traditional mechanisms like trust, entrusting this kind of assets or entrusting this kind of virtual monies or for some reasons these kind of things will be implemented into this kind of CX and some new. So what's wrong with it? Is there anyone sorry? So Another thing that want to be added is that people will be more thinking about we are moving on to other kinds of exchange systems like DX or P2P. This kind of trading systems, this kind of exchange systems will also be improved or also be more and more frequently. But another issue linked to the crypto world is that when we are doing the tradings or when we are actually trading things in virtual assets, the authority concerns what they really cares about is about the money laundering. So the anti-money laundering regulations will always following this kind of trends and try to figure out how to do the money laundering, following these kind of rules, renewing these kind of rules. When these kind of new ways of transaction, new ways of transaction of virtual assets be to be implemented. And another layers of that is about the linkage between the tokenized assets, real world assets, and the token. The linkage between that is very important because we know that it can actually radically change. It can possibly radically change the way we are actually doing transaction in the real world. Like when in recent right now, if you are signing a contract to buy a car, like if you are buying a Benz car or buying a Ferrari, buying a Porsche, this kind of buying things, you need to sign a contract, and the contract will do a record of your rights and your obligations. Like if you want to buy a car, you need to pay money, no matter you pay the money by prepay the money or by different, like separate the money into different kinds of different shares and pay the share amounts like that. But you need to pay the money, and the car merchandisers need to give you a car. But when we are actually making this kind of tokenization of that card actually possible, although we can actually save a lot of cost when we are trying to prove like this card is mine, to use the token as a way to prove the property right, to prove these kind of rights, or to actually entitle the property with more possibilities. This kind of thing can be possible when we actually moving on to a world of tokenization of the real world assets. But however, the contract that we are signing in reality can also be altered, can also be changed. Or maybe we can think about more radically. Maybe we don't need to sign a contract in reality. Maybe the token transaction can become a way of signing a contract. So these kind of new things can actually maybe can have a potential conflict with the modern civil law, the civil code system. And this kind of things, it need to be overcome by the development of the contract, by the development mechanism of the smart contract. If somebody sell you the token, doing a token transaction, but they don't give you the card in the real world, how can we solve this kind of problem? How can we solve the kind of this problem, like the broken linkage between the real world assets and the token? Can we create a kind of like technology that actually strengthen the linkage between the real world assets and the token? Can we actually implement this kind of way, or making the token become a must-to-do, making the transaction of the token become a must-to-do or become obligation into the modern world civil contract? This kind of things can be actually seen deeper, and actually it should actually be it can actually be considered as one part of the legal infrastructure or the contract law infrastructure that we need to achieve before we moving into a very smooth or very good tokenization of the real concept, real asset world like that. So I think this is actually of my real world. Yeah. Okay. Kenji, do you want to add something, or is anyone want to add something?
No. I want to really share.
My turn?
William.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah. Okay. Regulations in the space. How do I put this? Without rules, there's going to be chaos. So because this is new technology in the space, and if we allow people to build, yes, there's a lot of things, a lot of great things, a lot of innovations will happen. But at the same time, human greed will play a huge example and part into this space and industry. as shown previously by FTX and a few others, that without regulations, if you give people the ability to do whatever they want to do within the space, bad things might happen. And also right now, the best sentiment from the market towards crypto and also Web3 and NFT kind of results from regulation was lacking for the previous 2-3 years. That being said, compliance is something that PlayStation follow very diligently. We've been working with our legal and also our compliance for months before we even started our building on the development side. We didn't start building our MVP or beta till, I guess, almost August. Because starting in March, we are working with SEC and CFTC to make sure we have a strong foundation and we are compliant within their regulatories to make sure we have a project for the investors and for the users. But that's only from us. You know, we are trying to build this project very soundproof and bulletproof since the very beginning. And we do hope to scale it up alongside with other people in the ecosystem, such as InVar, such as Bay NFT, and also Landax, all these strong players in the field. We do believe this industry needs everyone's work to be the pioneer to make sure that this new technology and this new way of real estate investing or ownership is going to be the new trend in the future. And everybody is coexisting in the space, and we do care about education a lot. Well, regulatory to us is another form of education that we need to push onto users. Because right now, dealing with crypto, a lot of people are not seeing each other face to face. And a lot of people are want to remain anonymous to protect their assets, to protect their identity. So without trust, without a good foundation of rules, this technology will not take on, because not everyone will catch on board. And that being said, 99% of the people and users and consumers are still left in the Web2 space, where transparency to them works in the old traditional way. That's why I think regulation in this space is definitely going to be wrapping up. And as far as I know, I believe a few platforms such as Gemini and I forget the other name, they just recently got charged by SEC for selling security tokens as well. So once the rules are getting more firm and strong, all the people that didn't follow suit before, they will eventually catch the potatoes or the hot potato. So for everyone else that's early in the stage, we do highly recommend to explore your ways to make sure that you are in compliance. So, in a situation where regulations do change, where there is the direction of change for the regulations, your project is still staying above water, and your users have more trust and credibility within your project. And that is what PlayStation is doing, and we do believe every project should dab it into their legal side as well, because we're dealing with security tokens and real-world assets.
Yes. The reason why I want to invite William to share his insight is because they spend a lot of time and only on doing things in compliance in the right ways like us. So we believe that the regulation, the laws of the United States is like the rational signal for the other country, maybe in Asia, right? Because as you know, most of the Asia regulators are more conservative than United States and Europe, so they will follow and take reference of the regulation and the direction of the United States to decide and define how to deal with cryptocurrency, how to deal with tokenization service. And thank you, William. Yeah. And maybe we go to the next one, Peter.
Yep. Yeah, we have the next questions. So the next issues. So the next issues we want to ask is that projects we're playing on RWA sectors, how to bring RWA use case to the main stage. So in this dish, we want to have discussions between different projects on RWA. Today, unfortunately, we didn't have the Landex. We didn't have Landex for place. We didn't have Landex. Unfortunately, we didn't have Landex on real team for discussion. But however, we still have the translation, not PlayStation, but play assets from William from 26. Maybe William, you can share your thoughts and share your insights as well. And if any others want to add on, it is also welcome.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that William and Kevin to share on this topic. Yeah, maybe William first. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yes, so for our plan on the real asset side for this sector, it's very simple. We, instead of wholesaling these real estate ownerships and properties now, we are reaching out to individual consumers on the retail level. And by turning them into NFTs, we can collaborate with gaming, arts, and collectibles in the digital space to expand applications and tradability, like Kenji previously mentioned, TradeFi. But we're boosting more liquid in this illiquid asset sector. That is our plan for the real world asset implementation side. Oh, there's a follow-up question. For us to bring RWA users to our main stage, so going back to our legal compliance. So the structure we set up as play stage right now allow us to have offshore users through our offshore blocker that we set up as the entity fund. So our users offshore can join on board without being accredited investors wholeheartedly. The process for people to participate, the access level dropped drastically in our sense. However, for onshore user within the United States, because we're a Delaware entity, they still have to pass through the KYC and also to show credentials to prove themselves to be accredited investors. For us, it's relatively easy. This U.S. side regulatory is a difficult procedure to pass through. And we now have green-lighted on offshore user acquisitions. So we're going to be attracting and also selling U.S. properties to these offshore users based in Southeast Asia and Africa and in many other countries as well. To them, we did a little survey. They still believe U.S. dollar is one of the strongest fiat out there. And also U.S. economy in the long run is still going to boost up above average to the current market. And another plus sign is 2028 with Olympic, World Cup, and other major events happening in the States. We do believe there's going to be a high value of increase for our investors, for our consumers. That is our correlation to the retail level or consumer level to our RWA.
Yeah, thank you. The guy Kevin, you want to share something?
Yeah, hi, my name is Kevin, both here and CEO for Planet Bay and Acre World, which is our parent company. And so for us, what we're actually doing to our plan for real world assets is essentially coming up with actual solutions that where there are problems for the traditional real estate market. So these include a lot of like barriers of entry. So for example, for someone to even own foreign real estate, as if you were to try and do that right now, it's there, you have to like kind of apply for a visa, you know, which in and of itself is a very time-consuming, you know, costly and kind of inefficient kind of process. And by putting like a pool of assets as NFTs, we can essentially utilize the speed and efficiency of blockchain technologies to help expedite the process. So in something that would typically take days, weeks to months, years even to be able to do, we can literally do almost instantaneously. And you know that is just one thing that we're able to kind of do. Again, we're essentially just coming up with solutions to a variety of different problems that are currently in the traditional real estate market. And one way that we're actually able to bring these real-world assets to the mainstream is by as of right now, our strategy has been to like speak directly with different real estate agencies and kind of tell them like what kind of the issues that we're actually solving for them, which is kind of cutting out a lot of middlemen, which in and of itself kind of reduces your kind of overall like profit for whenever you're trying to sell real estate. And one big thing that we're also doing is what we're wanting to do is actually create a platform for a lot of vetted real-world asset projects. So Acre World, which is the parent company, is our main thing that we're going to do is have a marketplace similar to say like OpenSea, but it focuses specifically on real-world assets. And so that this can now create this marketplace, this platform for people who are looking for not only digital goods, digital media in order to invest in, but actual real-world assets. So it includes a lot of these different projects that are here, which we hope to have in the future, be able to offer like Play Estate, LandX, all these kind of like vetted projects onto this platform. And by having, because like one issue that that there is in cryptocurrency is that a lot of people are trying to sell you something, right? And not everyone even has the means or the capability to do the due diligence and understand everything onto its like fundamental level of whether or not this is like a legitimate project or a scam. And though the ones that are here are legitimate, there are so many scams out there, and they have a lot of good websites, and they have they try to like streamline the process for buying them, and that kind of makes it difficult for legitimate projects to be able to have a leg to stand on, right? Whenever there's just so many projects out there, and we're like this is kind of a way that we're looking to essentially literally utilize and collaborate with all these different projects to be able to have essentially just an actual resource for like essentially a single resource for everyone to be able to go to. So that being said, we plan to, I think the biggest thing that is needed in order for mainstream adoption is overall education. A lot of people the only thing that they know about Bitcoin, Ethereum, or cryptocurrency in general is like the price. They only know the price of what these cryptocurrencies are, and there's actually this huge underlying technology with a lot of different applications that is the core that gives the people the confidence to do this, to invest in the cryptocurrency. And that's one of the things that we're going to have is essentially we find that like fundamental education on cryptocurrency is what's going to give people the confidence to be able to invest and put their money in something, and that's where I personally think that we're looking to develop, and so for Acre World, our parent company, and for Platinum Bay being our first project, we're going to essentially have like an educational platform for people to learn about these basics of cryptocurrency, so that way they have a better understanding of not only what Bitcoin is or what Ethereum is, but how these other tokens and different projects, how they actually function, and whether or not that is a good idea for them to get into. Because as of right now, it's too easy for people who have money in their bank account to connect it to an exchange, and there's literally hundreds, thousands of different options there, right? But all they see is the price action. They see a price going up, down, whatever that price action is for that day or that month or that year. And then these people don't know how it actually works, what the actual applications are, and I think that to me is going to be the biggest factor in adoption for the rest of the world, right? For us here, we know it well enough. We know how to do our own kind of like research, but at the same time, people who are, say for example, someone who wants to learn about cryptocurrency today, they're gonna have basically no understanding of it. There's gonna be a lot of different projects that sound good to them, but they don't know exactly how it works. And what we want to do is be able to provide education. I think that is the key. That is the key to unlocking major and mainstream adoption for cryptocurrency. So that's kind of our current plan right now. So for the Platinum Day NFT project, what we're doing is educating like these different kind of like real estate agencies on what problems that we're solving. And for a broader audience, what we want to do is be able to educate them on generally how cryptocurrency works, so that they themselves can go on and kind of make more educated investments, really, because that's the thing, you can't just, like as of right now, people are just like, there's a board, right? They're trying to take a shot in the dark on something they don't understand. But what we want to do is bring light, actually bring light and and understanding to how it all works, so that way they have it, because it's all about the confidence, right? Whenever someone invests into something and all they know is the price, when that price goes down, when the entirety of their knowledge is the price, and the price goes down, they're gonna lose confidence in it. But if they have a full understanding of what it is that they're investing in, they have greater confidence in that product, in that project, and that's what's gonna help retain them and keep them as an investor, even when the price goes down, because fundamentally the technology is still there, right? So and how it works is still there, regardless of the price action for that moment. And and as long as it's a solid project, solid team, and that the milestones that they say that they're going to reach are being reached, then I think that it's going to be that's what's going to allow people to adopt cryptocurrency in the mainstream, just general education.
Yes, thank you for a great speech from Kevin. And I believe the mainstream, like I shared earlier, people are all afraid about having any relation with crypto because of the similar event last year. So that's why I believe we all expecting the real world asset could bring a new landscape for them, for web two user, for traditional.
To understand, this is about technology innovation. It's about business model iteration. It's not scam. It's not storytelling. It's not fairy dust, right? So that's why I believe the crypto massive production will certainly give a role for RWA. Yes, thank you. And maybe we go further to the next question. Peter.
We're going to the next question. So the next question is that what is the biggest challenge to bring RWA machine? What is current mainstream solutions? So in this question, we will invite the Soft Protocol and Platinum Bay to answer this question. So decide who goes first, or if anyone, each of you want to go first, either of you want to go first, you can just talk. Yeah. Then do you want to go first?
Maybe
Yeah, solve could
also
go first.
Yeah, I can go first. Sorry about that. I was unmuting my mic. So we're looking at I guess the biggest challenges for real world assets. Look, I've actually worked in the space for quite some time. I started off in ISO advisory, but then I was with a company that was basically trying to get the virtual asset license, and I also worked for another company that had their digital asset license, and trying to bring STOs to market. So I've got a fair amount of understanding of trying to bring, I guess, illiquid assets onto a world where we can, transact with it a lot easier. And when I look at the, I guess, when you look at the real world problems, there is sort of I feel like for the most part, the technology side of things, we all know that we can make things much faster. Technology across the whole world in all verticals, they're removing all the intermediaries. So we know that a lot of efficiency and costs are already impacted. But I guess when you move from old processes and moving things from the old world, if you want to call it, to the new world, it just takes a lot of time, and there needs to be almost some initiative or motivation to do so. It's no different than when I remember DBS Bank was focused on setting up digital asset exchange, and sometimes I wonder if they're only doing that because it looks good for PR purposes, or are they really trying to innovate their own product? I'm sure they look at a lot of different risks of their own assets and managing with their customers and wanting to build a private chain. But I think over a period of time, we know that regulation will change, and the acceptance of what's going to happen when things are getting tokenized. I think insurance plays a big part. So think about not only custody of assets, how that's traded, if it's not peer-to-peer, who's managing custody. Do we need, actually custodians, or can that be managed sort of safely in a very automated way, in a trustless manner? And I just think, I've seen so many use cases that we already know. we can already build it today. I think that's the sense. It's just whether or not the current ecosystems to make it broad, especially where real world assets. We look at real estate. You look at sort of a lot of these real estate contracts. I guess it's not really fractionalized ownership. It's backed by shares into either some entity that people own a part of, and that's fractionalization in a sense. And all it's really being done is actually tokenizing it so people can trade it easily across different platforms. But that's not really, in some cases, is that really solving or bringing something new to the market? It is. And so I think the way I see it, if we look at from SFT Labs, we look at basically semi-fungible tokens. Why? Because there's a clear need to bring a different, angle of how we can manage assets just in general that can help kind of unlock liquidity, similar to what we're talking about today, real world assets. So for example, if you look at current mainstream token standards today, basically static ones, that are basically static. Once minted, a token doesn't really change anymore. However, RWA tokens, they're often required to dynamically change, right? So I think this is one of the changes that's really needed in real world asset space, right? So basically, the current states of the underlying real world asset needs to change for whatever reason. It needs to change from one. Let's say if I owned it and I put it in an entity and I sell it off and it's moved into another entity. Yeah, you got a chance of ownership, but sometimes if you're looking at due to real estate, how's that transaction on the registrar for that jurisdiction managed? And it's very old school these days when you're holding title to a property and how that's managed. And I feel like that's one of the challenges is how do you incorporate those those back-end processes that need to also change. So now until now, emerging token technologies such as DNFT and ERC-3525, they provide such capabilities, and it continues to grow. So I'd like to also add a point that the ultimate motivation and purpose of tokenizing real-world assets is to acquire liquidity, yes, financing a project, optimize one's balance sheet. So there's obviously a lot of financial outcomes from it. But tokenization is just the first step and is far from being sufficient. There's so many broader use cases that you can do. Use it in a sense of creating a holistic system to follow, authenticating information, rating the quality of creditworthiness of an asset, packaging and tranching the asset portfolio, selling or exchanging the tokens. And the list goes on. And only when we build a whole flywheel to show the power of real-world asset tokenization, I think until then people can really build a confidence, as was previously mentioned, right? So it's not speculation of why people it's all like wanting to make money. No, it's not about that. But the confidence in what the outcomes of what tokenization does for real-world assets and how they can be managed in a very open way is what's needed, right? And confidence actually, if you think about the whole market in general, right? What we've been fighting for the longest time to get attention. Like these days, you know, I was just talking to some journalists, and they're talking about. I just asked them, you know, if I'm like writing articles, creating content. Should I stop using the word crypto? Because I think it just in the mainstream it's got this connotation, right? And it is really interesting that it's just there's so many people who understand the space now. They know it's not a completely bad thing. In crypto, it's more than what's happening with FTX and Three Arrows Capital. It's quite broader, and I think that that's positive to see things are going in that direction. So I'll end it up there, but yeah, I think it's very early stage for the whole blockchain space, tokenization. Use cases continue to come out. It starts to move faster and faster. But I still think like tokenization of real estate, I guess, or like let's say real estate with backed by, or they're basically contracts, right? Investment contracts. That was basically to get it onto the market, but I still think things need to evolve a lot more, where basically the like different jurisdictions that are tracking the ownerships within that jurisdiction when they start to try to take it on as well, and being part of manufacturing new solutions, innovative solutions to support this new world that we're moving into. That's happening much faster than anyone realizes. Okay, that's my spiel. Thank you.
Yeah, I got inspired by also, and thanks for your sharing. I believe the main point about this topic is all about building trust. We build the industrial level confidence, right, to crypto. To let more people to believe that crypto can be good, right? Can be good to our daily life, to go to our familiar service, service and assets we used to have, right? We used to do for the investment or whatever else. And then I believe that the token which backed by real world asset could be a notable alternative. It's like a stable crypto asset in crypto ecosystem, other than stablecoin. So the user can have a new chance, new option by not just holding stablecoin. They can hold the token with real world asset right back. And then they can utilize it as a collateral in decentralized bank, in DeFi, or maybe it can be a new type of collateral in our real life or in TradeFi. That could be possible in maybe in next 3 to 5 years. So also not just about collateral, lending or borrowing. It could be more, right? You can build up as you can treat those tokens as a basic layer to build a new DeFi protocol or NFT protocol. You utilize the characteristic of stability, the predictable and easy to management, the risk and return. You use it as a base layer for providing value, the stable value, the fixed income for build out like structural financial products, something like that. So it could be so much potential for that. Yeah. And maybe next one, Kevin, you want to share more about this topic?
Yeah, definitely. You guys can hear me okay? I have
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great, yeah. Because sounds good. So, yeah, to build off of that, so like some of the biggest challenges for bringing like real world assets on chain is actually how to structure everything that is off chain, right? So that being said, how do we get something like real estate that is like a physical asset and be able to link them to to the blockchain? And so right now I actually have open the Platinum Day NFT white paper. I think it does a pretty good job of kind of describing kind of like how we're doing. And so like to start, Platinum Bay NFT is a $150 million construction project, and we have a partnership with Wyndham Resorts, which is the world's largest hotel franchisor, who's working with us to help kind of bring this project to the mainstream. And so essentially what we're doing is we're tokenizing the real estate assets into a fractionalized pool of about 8,000 NFTs, which is going to allow multiple stakeholders from around the world while also lowering the barriers of entry. These hotel physical assets will be tokenized through the use of an offshore trust that will act on behalf of the NFT holders, holding the pool of assets for their benefit, legally binding the NFTs to the ownership titles transferred by the Platinum Bay Resort. And so the corresponding proportional percentage of the net profits obtained from the resort will go directly into a staking reward pool that will allow the NFT holders to receive passive income derived from the real world revenue made accessible via these digital NFT assets. And Platinum Bay is using this business to peer model that saves millions of dollars for developers while enriching the production of service, streamlining processes, and generating liquidity. And this model simplifies the process of buying and selling an illiquid asset by using real assets to protect NFT holders while creating additional revenue through the use of DeFi protocols. And so the biggest challenge in bringing real world assets on chain is actually figuring out how all of the real world physical, like whatever that structure is, and trying to figure out how to get that to work on the blockchain. And so again, as of right now, we have this kind of we have our own system, very kind of unique system in place that is going to help kind of essentially, it's a very innovative idea, right? Like being able to take these real world assets such as real estate, be able to fractionalize it, and then put it on a blockchain for people to be able to manage and interact with their investment in a way that it's very efficient when you compare it to how the transfer of ownership for real estate is in the current market. And as of right now, I could go into the details, but it would take a while. But if anyone is interested, we have Platinum Day on PlatinumDayNFT.com. We have our white paper that's currently available, so you can kind of better understand how the entire ecosystem is structured. And again, like kind of like the biggest challenge is trying to figure out how to get all of these, how to essentially bridge the digital and physical realm. And for the first time, with blockchain technologies, that's really going to allow us to be able to revolutionize how we kind of communicate and how we do business. And it's gonna, how we traditionally do it, with all these middlemen and lawyers and kind of signing physical documents for the transfer of like real estate is going to seem very archaic in the next even 5 to 10 years as we start to develop this technology and start to bring it into the mainstream. If anyone also has any questions, I can actually put my my business email in the chat. If you have any questions that I could probably answer you in more detail. I'm taking too much of everyone's time here. Thank you.
Yeah. And also I saw 2 questions from the audience. Maybe Kevin or Arthur or William can help that. One, the username called Enjoy. Enjoy asks about
Enjoy asks that if real estates earn money in the real world, how to feed back the profits to the NFT owner?
Yeah, who wants to get this question? Maybe William
Yeah. So actually, I highly recommend people who are interested in kind of like this our like real estate model to read our white paper, because actually, like on the 5th page we have kind of a diagram of how the Platinum Bay NFT business model is set up. So I'm gonna try. Let me see if I can share my screen. I don't know if it's working, but so essentially there's going to be annual net revenue, right, from the hotel operations, and there are NFT holders, and the NFT holders can stake their NFT, and the staking pool will receive the annual net profit from the hotel operations. And so by having their NFT staked in this NFT pool, the NFT holder will be able to receive profits from the net revenue in USDC. So kind of as as the value and like kind of the operations are able to generate revenue, the NFT holders will be able to get essentially a portion of from staking their NFT.
I guess question, there's so many different models that you can really, like, you've got just one buyer and seller. You could you take a loan, you borrow against it. You can be 3 parties in different positions. You can add it to your will. It can be inherited and passed on to other people. There's all these different ways in which that the transaction can change, but the value at the end of the day is typically based on when it's sold, right? So, but obviously you've got all these mechanisms nowadays to stake it, to kind of like give profit for it, especially if it's income producing property. But I guess that's the whole thing. I think how do you get profits from these NFTs? It really depends on the deal structure of the real estate project in itself. And Platinum Bay, go to the white papers. So you can see a lot of different business models, and I think this is the exciting piece, is to be able to participate and invest in a like a new 50-floor high rise, right? Mixed use commercial, something that you would have never really had access to unless you had maybe like $25 million minimum or something like this. So I think it's quite exciting that you can participate in these type of things. I think before, I think one of the easiest way to own some type of real estate has always been like timeshares, where you're able to put in some money and then you can use that property certain amount of time in a year, and then basically as the value increases, you basically can share your shares of that timeshare. But that's once again, that's sort of like, it's split up in different ownership structure, and it can be passed on from that basically like whatever percentage, that 2% to someone else, right? Or you can sell off even 1% if you wanted to. But I think I guess to that point, there's so many different ways that you can earn profits from these real estate NFTs, real world assets.
Yeah, and also I just wanted to kind of add to that, because like you were saying, you didn't have the opportunity to be able to invest in these types of assets. It would generally require either the connection or just having like a vast amount of money. But for even for the Platinum Bay NFT project, the lowest tier that we have is it's $100, right? That so right there is basically going to allow essentially almost anyone to be able to kind of diversify their investment portfolio with something like this at a very low entry point, right? It's not just, we're not just like removing or lowering these barriers of entry by coming up with solutions for a variety of different issues, like legally or but also the main thing, which is financially, right? A lot of people, when you think about even considering investing in real estate, this is usually like hundreds of thousands of dollars that you'll need in order to properly be able to invest in something like this. And by kind of lowering this financial barrier, it really, that's what's really going to be able to kind of revolutionize like this new investment class, this new asset investment class, right? And again, like Platinum Bay NFT, for $100 you can kind of now get a chance to invest in foreign real estate, which again typically requires you to have first off the money to be able to do it, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars. But even if you had that, you would have to have a visa as well, which isn't very easy to do, right? And so by taking that all away, we're literally going to be able to expand kind of people's accessibility to something like this. So thank you.
It's no different than I had a friend was looking at buying some property in Thailand, and the whole structure. Obviously, you need a visa. You need to know someone there, and then the real estate agents end up setting up these deals in which that you can buy it, but it's almost like you don't really own it, right? You got so many amount of years that you own it, then you got to give it back, and you don't own the land at all. You just own the part of that investment. Let me ask you, for Platinum Bay, I guess, is there any business models where you're looking at, so if you look at, like, okay, anyone wanting to invest in real estate, the closest thing would be like a REIT, right? They have 100 or whatever, right? You guys gonna set up structures like that as well, that kind of combine projects, or maybe they're existing income producing properties already?
Yeah, so it's interesting that you mentioned that, because in our white paper, we literally have a section, like literally it's like the 6th page of our white paper right now, literally comparing a real estate NFT to a real estate investment trust REIT model, and like you know, by comparison, there's a I don't want to kind of go too far into it now.
That's right.
but yeah, it's like but yeah, like you were saying, because that is kind of like a model that for current like the current real estate structure, like the industry, and that I mean there's similarities, but what we have here is there's by comparison to like a REIT. The Platinum Bay NFT collection distributes 100% of the net profit back to shareholders.
Yeah.
It's verified by a third-party auditor.
Right.
The collection doesn't dilute existing shareholders by and it allows like the Platinum Bay NFT represents like the democratized access to the investment.
Right.
Using like these technologies. So, and definitely if people who are interested in just maybe not even necessarily just our project, but we like specifically, but we actually have a comparison chart on our Platinum Bay NFT white paper that literally lays out the differences between a real estate NFT and a real estate investment trust, and kind of like showing kind of what are the benefits, like what are the issues what are the benefits for like a real estate NFT, and what are the issues that are being that has its advantages over like a real estate investment trust.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I believe because like Kevin mentioned, the real estate, the one thing that real estate cannot avoid is that all stuff is off-chain, right? No matter is the ownership or the utility or the income, something like that, or the data, or even the data of the property or of the real estate, they are all off-chain. So that's why I believe most of our method to bring those real data and real asset on chain is through coordination between multiple parties. Maybe we need to have like us. We need to have discussion and meeting with the regulator, with the real estate developer, something like that, through multiple party or third party advisor or auditor. Right? So that's why I believe that the RWA project, the RWA back token, will prevail on most of the virtual token. The token only with narrative or with storytelling or complex tokenomics, because they don't have any responsibility to in compliance, and they don't need to spend capital, spend time to deal with multiple parties, right? They just doing some coding and structure a more sophisticated tokenomics as possible, right? So I think that the RWA is a promising center we should take eyes look at, and thanks for the answer and table sharing. And maybe if anyone got question, don't hesitate to leave your question right here in the chat room, no matter you are in Linkalive, Metaverse, or in our Discord, Twitter, live streaming. Okay, maybe we go further. The next one is that is about the most interesting part I want to hear. John, you there? Yes, your turn. Yeah. So it's about, because I believe most of the project, the RWA project or Web3 project, they need to fundraise, right? We need a strategy partner to support you, foster you, or accelerate your business model to go further, right? So I believe that many of you are interested about how VC see the real world asset sector, how VC the RWA token exhibition, and how we use with VC be with us,
Yeah.
What's your metrics and how to?
I think it's a very interesting piece. Reward assets. The topic is not new, right? I think since the beginning of this first smart contract platform, Ethereum, reward assets on the blockchain has been an idea that many have been fascinated about, that many also investment banks, big financial institutions have been pondering about. But looking back at the last few years, although this idea has been around quite a few years, not many projects have actually began implementing reward assets on the blockchain in a scalable way, right? I think not many projects have gone beyond the proof of concept stage. So I think that there are good reasons for this, and I've heard this several times from previous speakers on the panel that there are really barriers of entry. Like you need to really show a very good founder market fit. I think that's really essential, and the reason why is it's a very, very regulatory heavy environment you're moving in. So I have heard points like custody, trade processes, how do you evaluate and do asset verification. There's a certain amount of regulatory risk in it. You need to do AML, KYC. So these are really specialized functions that you need to provide as a RWA asset provider, I guess, to really comply with some regulatory demands or requirements and reporting requirements, right? So I think that there is certainly some kind of background you need to have as a founder, as a startup, to really succeed in this really regulatory heavy field. But at the same time, we are seeing that already reward assets are penetrating the crypto industry. And where do I see this? For instance, I see this, for instance, with stablecoins, right? When we look at the different types of stablecoins, which are really the core pillar of decentralized finance and crypto, it is that we see, for instance, algorithmically regulated stablecoins. Like we had, for instance, I think the Terra Luna stablecoin, UST, right? But we also have like collateralized stablecoin, and collateralized stablecoins come in two ways. One is collateralized by crypto assets like DAI stablecoin, I guess, which is backed by, for instance, Ethereum or other blue chip digital assets. But then we have, for instance, those stablecoins which are collateralized by real world assets, looking at USDT, for instance, which is primarily collateralized by, I think, bonds, cash, and commercial papers, right? So in this regard, we already have some real asset exposure indirectly through some real asset-backed stablecoins. But again, I think it's very hard to bring together a team, startup team that has a really good overview and expertise in these topics such as custody. And I think this has been also mentioned previously by some other panelists, right? So I think that maybe it is the case that we are still very early in this market. So I think all the people who are right now focusing 100% on RWA on the blockchain is still very early. And I 100% agree also. I don't know who spoke about it, but the key factor here is really education, and especially education in terms of taking away the FUD, right? FUAD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt from regulators, but also from asset managers, traditional asset managers in the traditional finance world, right? TradFi. And I think currently the core focus is really education and taking away the fear from people, stakeholders in the crypto world, that real assets being brought onto the blockchain is something, really, really abstract, right? I think that's one of the core focus in the next few months or years. I think also there's a good reason for this. If you look at real assets brought onto blockchain, I think a very good example is maybe the startup called Timeless in Germany, and they have been actually they did put, I think, luxury watches on the blockchain, right, and made this very accessible to retail investors. But the watches which have been stored, I think, in a safe somewhere in a bank, have been stolen. And then the interesting question now is, what happens now to the NFTs or to the tokens that are a digital representation of these luxury watches and their valuation, right? So I think this purports, this points to a question of ownership. And this cycles back to the initial question of linking real-world assets to digital assets on a blockchain, right? So here again, custody becomes really, really relevant, and custody is not something that anyone can do. And startups that are trying to bring real-world assets onto the blockchain should be really concerned about custody, about AML and KYC, regulatory risk, asset verification, and stuff like this. Yeah, that's my take. But it's a booming industry for sure. I think in the last few weeks, real assets have become a hot topic again.
Yeah, thank you, John. I want to ask you is that I'm interested about what is the key metrics from your side to really get involved in real asset projects.
Right. So I think currently,
but you will really do investment. Maybe you can tell more your secret.
yeah, I guess it depends on the stage of the startup. So whether the startup is mature or not, or is still early stage. I think that most startups currently who are focusing on real-world assets, tokenization of real-world assets, are still early stage, right? And at early stage, not often there is revenue, right, to base some quantifiable metrics upon, right? So the key focus in early stage is really the background of the founder team and the idea, right? So there should be a market for the idea. There should be a good idea, and there should be a good founder team who really can drive the vision and can implement it. I think that's a core focus. It's hard to quantify, right? But ideally, you have an innovative idea that also has some USP that sets you apart from your competitors. You are in a big market, which is also, and you have an idea that's scalable. So I think these are not really that different in terms of what early stage founders should focus on with regards to other ideas in the Web3 space. These are really general, I guess, recommendations, but nonetheless, I think the regulatory risk dimension looms relatively big over the sector of real-world assets.
Okay, thank you, John. Thank you. Yeah, anyone want to add or ask any question to John? John is the VC from the blockchain founders group. They are originally from Germany.
I was actually just maybe John, if because I'd like to maybe talk to you a bit more about kind of like opportunities of working with your VC. If maybe you could, if you were comfortable, like sharing maybe like some sort of like contact information, whether it's like business email or like Twitter, like in the chat. So maybe we can do like a follow up.
Yeah, sure. Let me put in my email address in the chat.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yes. If no further question, then we will go to the final one, the final of the panel discussion. Peter.
The final one of the panel discussion is that what are you expecting in the RWA sectors for the future. So basically, it is an open question. We want to open it to everyone who want to ask and answer this question briefly about the future things we want to see in RWA cases or RWA's projects like that. So does anyone want to be answering or try to share your views and share your opinions about how do you want to see in the future world of RWA? I think it's just if I just say that and nobody want to answer it or nobody yeah. So I would just have somebody to answer that, and then somebody to answer it. Like couldn't they the NFT? Do you want to answer it? Like how do you want to see or how do you want to achieve in the future world of RWA?
Yes, like again, I think for kind of like for the future of like real world assets, I think again, like I kind of want to reiterate what I mentioned before was kind of education is going to be key to actual mainstream adoption. You know, once people are no longer only familiar with the price action and actually understand like that, even the basics, fundamentals of like cryptocurrency in general, only then are we going to be able to kind of take that next step and then introduce someone to how like these real world assets will be beneficial to them and how it's going to be useful, right? Like for the future. So I'm very confident in kind of what what real world assets have to offer on the blockchain, because you know it's when we think about it, it's the next logical step in how this technology is supposed to be used, right? Like because even before I myself, you know, have been in cryptocurrency for over 10 years, even before getting into Harvard and like you know kind of working and being able to work on a project like this, and you know I think that you know like again like the main thing is being able to have people understand exactly first off what blockchain is, and then understanding how real world assets can be used on the blockchain, because you know because there are logical steps in understanding and logical steps in being able to increase people's confidence. And you know for again like for if someone were to just with no knowledge of cryptocurrency and wants to learn about it today, it doesn't make sense to make this leap and try to describe to them what real world assets on the blockchain is when they don't have this fundamental basic understanding of it. And you know I see for the future that for at least that's one thing that needs to be done for people with minimal to no knowledge of cryptocurrency need to have. But for people who do understand it, people who are currently developing projects, you know, I think the main thing is that they're not even aware that this is happening, right? Like, so for example, whenever I go to different conferences, like when I mentioned to real estate NFT, the first thing I always hear is, oh, is this Metaverse? You know, because then that to them is what they're exposed to. That to them is kind of the base of their knowledge. They don't realize that there are projects for real world assets, you know, real physical real estate that is being put on chain. You know, so I think for the future, it's for, as of right now, you know, all of us here are literally pioneering, you know, this technology. You know, we are literally all pioneers. You know, the first people to even kind of discover the forefront of blockchain technologies and what these applications will have in the future. Because you know, even the internet of itself is in its infancy. Bitcoin is kind of this first even money for the internet. You know, first application for the internet that has this like huge impact. And you know, it's basically opened this Pandora's box for what is possible with blockchain technology. And so for you know for as far as like the real world asset sector, you know, even just right now, you know, NFTs, you know, they weren't reported on. You know, they weren't really known about. You know, like say even like, you know, 3-4 years ago, right? But then from there, even just like a profile picture of an ape, right, has been able to reach, you know, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars in value. And you know, when people start to kind of educate themselves more and and be able to become more familiar with kind of what these other offerings are, and you know, eventually they'll reach this level and understanding that of real world assets, right? That it's not just digital media, it's not just like digital goods that people can kind of like purchase and like own, you know, and that we really are going to bridge this gap, right? There really is a gap right now in real world assets and putting them on chain. You know, we're just, you know, again, we're just now developing this, right? You know, no one has done this before. Like, you know, no one has been able to be able to find the answers for how to do this. You know, there's a lot of different models that have, you know, been kind of experimented with, but I think only now, by having blockchain, is not only now do we have the proper tools to be able to build what we want. And you know, and so I think that's for what I'm expecting for the future. I think the real world asset sector, it's you know, considering it's very new, you know, I see that, and I see that as it starts to develop, and as people become more familiar with the terminology and the actual technical aspects of what we're doing here, they're going to start to just see that this is the obvious answer, right? Because that's what we're doing here, right? We're not just like, this isn't just kind of like a way to make money. This is literally a solution to, you know, decades, centuries old questions and problems. And you know, again, no one's, once we develop this, right? So for example, in the context of real estate, once we develop this new efficient way of being able to transfer ownership and be able to have people kind of benefit from owning foreign real estate in this new model that utilizes blockchain technology, that is, you know, which is an efficient way of being able to transfer the ownership, having all these barriers of entry lowered, you know, that no one's going to want to go back to the old system, right? So no one's going to want to have to pay a bunch of middlemen, have to go through the process of having to get a visa to own foreign real estate, whenever there's this new technology that's going to enable them to do that in a much more streamlined way. So that's the way I kind of see the future for the sector. You know, it's in its infancy right now. We're literally pioneering this technology. So you know, it's you know, in like 5 to 10 years, you know, very very near future, I'm going, once we have these, because as of right now, what we're doing is a proof of concept, right? We need to prove that our concepts work. We need to prove that this is a truly advantageous for people to use this technology and use this method for kind of for investing. Because once we have that proof, right? It's not going to make sense for people to go the traditional, like how the traditional route is. And you know, I'm very confident in, you know, that being kind of the trajectory for real world assets in the future.
Yeah. The speech from Kevin is just touching my heart. As you know, like my experience when I talk to someone, maybe they are crypto native or the Web2 or traditional user, when I say something about real estate tokenization, the, the first the first things they talk to me is that real? Is that real? You know, but however, when they do investment in cryptocurrency, they don't ask this question: is that real? Okay, so that's really hilarious and really strange to me. You know, when you do some investment or you buy some PFP token, you never ask yourself, is that real? Is that reliable? Is that trusted? Right? But when we're talking about no matter it's real estate tokenization or what or other type of asset tokenization, they will really take it serious and really think about, is that real? Right? That's my experience. It's really funny and interesting to take it as a reference to think about how to do our marketing or education in the right way to let more people to learn. Crypto ecosystem is not all in risk. They may have some asset could be less risk and less correlation with the ecosystem. So thanks for sharing, Kevin. Yeah. And it's our final session of the panel. If you want to share more, if our speaker want to share more, please just open your mic. Then and we will maybe, if not, then we will go to our final session, the giveaway session. Yeah. So anyone want to add more, or maybe we go to final stage. Okay, I believe all speakers are taking their efforts and share as many as possible, and it's the final stage, the final session of the Q&A. If you got any question or idea you want to ask our speaker or share to us, just open your mic or maybe let us know. And we prepare our FTYDs from InVar, and they have some stable price from the estate. And if you are active to speak, then you can have chance to win. And also, our FT Ocean is all in the end. And thank you for your support. If you are the winner of the NFT Ocean, please contact Linkalive in Twitter account, and please screenshot yourself your bid proof and submit to Linkalive and do further transaction. Thank you. So anyone, any question? Let me check if there have some question in Discord. Okay, someone asked the friend from the Discord, they are asking a question about what is the swap analysis of real world assets, etc. That's a huge question. Any speaker want to answer this one? No? Okay, maybe I go for it. I think about the SWOT analysis of real world asset is that, in short, I want to long story in short. The first thing, the strength of real world asset, like I believe all of the speakers they are mentioned about it, is about stability, right? Because like real estate or commodity or agricultural land, they don't fluctuate 10% or even more every day or every week, right? They have more stability in price aspect as well. They have low correlation between each asset and within the ecosystem. Yeah, and like the weakness part, and also like the strength, the other aspect is about like the price and the cash flow, and also those real world assets have well framework to further due diligence or do valuation or further analysis, right? So that's the strength part. And the weakness part will be, as you know, and the speaker mentioned, there are many work we need to do. We need to do coordination between multiple parties. We need to have further discussion, meeting with regulator, or maybe with the custodian, or maybe the auditor, lawyer, something like that. So we may spend more capital, more initial or equity fund to launch this kind of product and service. So that's the weakling part. We need to spend more time and money to build out the final product. Not just like NFT project, they can just do some artwork and use standard NFT smart contract or maybe DeFi contract. They can just build out the minimum viable product and launch it very easily, right? And about opportunity, I think our opportunity is about as we discussed a lot. This ecosystem, this Kubernetes ecosystem lack the ability to generate real yield. As you can see, most of the DeFi or project, they lack the ability to generate passive income unless you are top tier, right? Unless you are top tier project like BLIC or MakerDAO, something like that. I think nearly 95 or 99% they don't have the ability to generate income. By saying that is that you don't have the ability to generate income, generate real yield, then you don't have the ability to build up further development, further advanced product for user, or you cannot hold the price of your token. The full price of your token will be vulnerable to confront any bad circumstance, right? So that's the opportunity for real asset. Because real asset, they are stable, they are reliable to streaming, to do further due diligence, and they have strong demand compared to crypto asset community DeFi. Because like us, maybe we don't need to do swap token or do yield farming every day to using those DeFi protocol or using NFT, right? But we certainly need to renting a house to live, right? We need to do some transaction in our daily life, right? So that's our opportunity for real asset. The demand of real asset is so strong. You can see the market cap of real asset sector. You can understand about it. But however, people don't need to do token swapping or trading or leverage something like that using DeFi every day. And then about the final one, about the T, is about I think it's about compliance, right? The legal issue is about the serious test for every real asset builder, right? So if you want to step in real asset sector, you want to build something with real asset risk, no matter the asset is, you need to figure out the solution to be legit, to in compliance way. So that's the strength about this. And also, I think the strength is about if the government and regulator release the clearly and transparent framework for crypto service provider, then there will be a huge amount of big company they will jump in, and those mature and big traditional financial institutions they will jump in this real asset organization. So that will be our strength. If little startup, some small startup, they don't have the ability or durability to deal with them, to face them. Yeah. So that's my answer. Okay. Any other question? Because our event already 3 hours. Yeah, already above 3 hours. If you come earlier, more than 3 hours. And we talk so many about the real asset development, the regulation, about the project, the use case, and the solution. So if you got any question, don't hesitate to just leave it in the chat room. And then, if not, then our event will be go to the end. And thank you for your attending. Thank you for your time to spend to take chance to look what we are doing, and I'm very happy and grateful for your coming. Yeah. So maybe I leave 5 more minutes to let you guys to think about, or anyone want to speak, just let us know. Okay.
Another thing is that we have posted the link of the Google Forms in the chat room. So as you can see, we are still improving the space with more function, with more exciting things, and with more exciting tools to help you guys and build connections and bring each other together and to collect everybody into these kind of spaces. So if you can please, it will be great, and it will be helpful for us to improve our products, our services, our platform by filling out these Google Forms, and we can give you we can give you rewards after you fill out these forms. And you if you want to hold events or doing some virtual things in this kind of space. Thank you.
Yeah. Also, I want to mention, please follow all the speakers, follow their Twitter, maybe join their Discord, and if you want to win a giveaway, please ask question, or maybe you can speak anything. Then you can have chance to win our whitelist, our past whitelist, and maybe win the giveaway, the step point giveaway. And also we will do a raffle of our whitelist and stable giveaway in our Discord. So join InVar Discord and follow our Twitter if you want to win the prize. Thank you. So anyone want to speak? I see Olga here, and Benjamin Bay NFT, and WSY, and Golden Eye. Golden Eye, you want to speak? Or share anything? Or enjoy still here. And hello, L. Please.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I just like to say it was really great. I think the platform is really cool, and looking forward to seeing more. I love the information around real world assets, and especially with been using real estate. So looking forward to see exactly how this is developed more in 2023. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Please contact Linkalive and join our Discord to claim your prize. And Mexico and also still here. You want to add more, or maybe add more, or like this?
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone. Thank you for inviting, and as part of SFT Labs. So anyone interested in learning more about or want to participate in the community, sftlabs.io. It's all about using semi-fungible tokens to basically tokenize reward assets, among other things. But yeah, thank you again, and I really enjoyed having this talk. And because one of the things in reflection that we always talk about, the future of RWA, and in fact the future of the rest of tokenization. I mean, tokenization has been, I guess you can say, the idea, the concept of what we can tokenize has been around for a long time, lots of use cases. In respect to areas where there's too much regulation, that's why people started creating tokenization of things that are outside of regulation, and I guess that's just in the nature of innovation. But over a period of time, it will come. It will come because it's just, I guess, if you think about things going mainstream, if you heard about like multi-million-dollar bonds that usually are only available to high net worth or institutional clients, tokenizing it and making it available to retail investors in smaller allocations of like $100 investment, similar to what Platinum Bay NFT is doing. It really changes sort of the basically leveling the playing field and really include all about inclusion, right? For not just major markets but the emerging markets as well to participate in something that basically will benefit them in the future, something that they didn't have available for currently. Like for example, someone just investing $100, it may not seem a lot to some people, but if they get into a project and it earns 15-20%, right? So you can say, oh, that's like $15-20. It's not a lot, but when you're coming from an emerging country, that is a lot. It's all about sort of like that opportunity was never there before to invest anything at $100. Banks don't even give you any money these days. Barely give you any interest, like the pennies, right? And these banks take your money as deposits, and they're making more money from it. So I guess I'm really excited to learn about whatever all the other projects are doing. I think I still need some time to follow up with sort of like more information in where real world assets is going. But yeah, just want to thank everyone, and yeah, connect with me. Or connect with SFT Labs. Be happy to have any discussions to learn more about working together.
Yeah, thank you also.
Yep.
Yep. Mexico, you want to speak? Yeah, and I think we are already a couple of SFT. We use SFT to do real asset tokenization in our next model. And I believe it will be a great token standard for every real asset builder. Yes, thank you. Jessica, you want to do any speech or not? Or maybe anyone want to share anything, and we will go to the end of the Carnival, RWA Carnival today.
Yeah, I'll just say thanks, guys. Not much more to add. It's getting late here as well. My brain is switching off, and it's even more late for you guys. And already, and so no, just great. Want to make sure that we connect with a lot of the other representatives of projects who are here today. I'd love them to connect with us on Twitter, send us a message, and we can explore what to do together. And yeah, really interested to we can package up some of this and do some good education and marketing on this topic. So it'll be really interesting to dig into that tomorrow and look at some of the highlights. And just thanks again to the organisers, Kenji particularly, for I know it takes a lot of work to do pull something like this together, especially when we're trying out new ways of doing it in the Metaverse and stuff as well. So big shout out to you and the team, and thanks so much, and everyone. Yeah, have a good day.
Yes, thank you. And Peter, maybe you do in, and if we don't have further speakers.
Yeah, thanks everyone for coming here. And also, do you want anything?
Yes, I just want to thank you all. And I want to say that we extremely hope we can do better and help projects and communities grow. So if you can write feedback for us, that will be very appreciated. And also we'd love to collaborate with project or individuals to make the ecosystem better. So please don't hesitate to contact me by Linkalive Twitter, or come back to this room to see more RWA information that we will have in the future in this room. So thank you again and have a good day.
Yes, thank you everyone. And maybe I should play the ending song. And if you thank you everyone, thank you for your time. You can leave now. Maybe you can have some champagne. There are the champagne table here. You can go here. You can go take one, and let's play the ending song. Thank you. And live.
Thanks everyone.
You can. Did she have a good night? Did she have a good chat? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you everyone, thank you Faye, thank you Christina, thank you Joy, thank you Marlene Coach, thank you WSY to join us, thank you Hello Out.
Thank you everyone. Bye. Bye.
Enjoy, you don't live, hello out, mas Lenko, you don't live, WSY.